Greetings, YouTube. I want to start off this video with something very important, and that's a reminder that this video reflects and is the voice of so many of you middle-class players that I've heard from in the past 24 hours. The majority of the messages that were in my in-game inbox, specifically not just the friends in the in-game, but in line and on Twitter, were not Shang-Chi featured Cavalier videos or screenshots, though those were still there. They were with people mourning what they see as a permanent, unless Kabam fixes it, end to the love of the arena that they had. This does not reflect how I feel about the arena changes based on my roster. My roster, because of YouTube, and it really is mainly because of YouTube. I was going to retire from the game when I, on a whim, thanks to my identical twin, started my YouTube channel sort of as a joke to try to cure my endless depression, and it did. And 4 years later almost, I have the craziest roster that I ever could have imagined and a purpose outside of my teaching job. But 99.9999 Repetin bar over the 9% of people don't. And a lot of people who grind the arena that I've heard from aren't even in an alliance. They're so casual with the game that they do two things. Log into the game to collect rewards and play the arena. And yeah, they'll do like the side quest maybe or some event quests. They'll probably not like Cavalier difficulty, maybe uncollected. But they're just casual players. They grind the arena to relax and get units and battle chips, etc. These players, especially the uncollected players, don't have any chance anytime soon to ever have my kind of roster, and you free-to-play players don't have a chance to ever have this roster, period, based off of how much money I have had to put back into this game, thanks to my channel largely, to make this happen. I have been upfront very much. Between gift cards and straight cash, homie, I have spent over $15,000 on this roster. And I still have a crazy amount of RNG luck to even be able to say that I have what I have in front of me. I could have spent that on featured Cavs and not had half the champions you see in front of you because I wait patiently to be able to cash in on the best deals of the month, and especially now the spring cleaning event that has somehow turned into a must purchase after this year, July 4th and Cyber Weekend. But in general, players that are uncollected, they're not just trying to rank up 5 stars. So many uncollected players that I've heard from over the years, and the MCOC elites that drive me crazy say, Prof, the reason why I don't like your channel is you talk too much about uncollected players and proven players when, the good players aren't there. Well, screw you, man. Like, this is a channel for the community. The majority of the players that I hear every day from are uncollected. And the number one question I get is, Prof, either how do I become uncollected or how do I go from uncollected to progress, because the gap between Conqueror and uncollected is pretty small. The gap between uncollected and Cavalier is still, to me, the biggest gap in the game. And you'd argue, well, what about Cavalier or Thronebreaker? Well, when you become Cavalier, you still have demonstrated that you have enough 5 stars in your roster to actually jump in because of the stupid 4-star gate restrictions that Kabam refuses to take off. But I can't tell you how many players reached out to me. They don't have a single rank 5 4-star, right? They became uncollected with all rank 4 4-stars. So many people have done that because they have the skill and the talent, unlike me, to accomplish that. These players, their best champions, I cannot say that enough, are rank 4 4-stars. There is no uncollected arena outside of the new Summoner Trials that is going to allow you to get milestones for units and battle chips. Every one of those players that largely has a 4-star roster as their best roster is going to get so much less for so much more grinding now. What have been the constant complaints about the arena for years? It takes too much of my time. What players want is an incentive to get units faster and grind less. That's what the average player wants. But that's not going to make Kabam as much money. And so they have really prioritized profit with the new arena system, unless you have a roster like mine. Because personally, there are 2 reasons why I love the new arena system. One is with less arenas, I just don't have to spend as much time jumping around to make sure I've got everything, because I became so addicted to arena grinding, and I still am, of course, that I would do all milestones of everything. Now I just have to worry about 3 arenas, and I can get the first one done with all my rank 5 4-stars in one day. It took me 60 streaks to get to 2.1 million. I've already had all the milestones of the 6-star basic arena, and so now I'm recording this on Friday. For the rest of the weekend, I'm just going to throw my 6 stars into the featured and see where I end up. And that is relaxing to me. Not only is that one of my favorite things, but I also have to show you that personally my favorite thing in general is if you do the arenas every week, and again, I haven't missed an arena in years because I lost my soul, but if you do them every week, you eventually, at 9 million points, and I've waited to collect this to show this, we'll get this guy. They'll get the featured 4-star champion. And then you'll, well, awaken him if you do it in round 2. That's amazing. Although, if you're guaranteed now to get the 4-star featured and the 3-star featured, the only champions you're not guaranteed to get are, well, the 6-star featured and the 5-star featured. Which actually, if you're going for a specific champion in crystals, if you don't get the 5 and 6-star, but you still are an arena grinder like me, it's not exciting at all to land on them anymore because you're going to get them in the arena anyway, for free. Other than, of course, the cost of how much time it takes. I want to not talk about my roster for most of this, though. Those are the pros, by the way, for my roster. I want to talk about the average summoner. So, for example, a summoner named Kayak Border reached out to me in the last 24 hours and said, as you consider these new arenas, you have mentioned the progression levels of different summoners, but not their play style. I am a free-to-play, and these arenas are a huge letdown, and I really do think he's speaking for a large percentage of the community here. My scores from the featured down were typically 9 million, 2.5 million, 150,000, and 640,000. I would earn 290 units and 39,000 battle chips. Yes, this free-to-play player keeps track of these stats. The equivalent scores in the new arenas are 168 units and 23,500 battle chips. So that's 122 less units per grind, but most importantly, almost 16,000 less battle chips. That totals 244 units and 31,000 battle chips less each week when you consider both arenas that run, Monday through Thursday and Thursday through Sunday. Again, his takeaway, which I cannot argue with, is that the rich are getting richer while everyone in the middle are getting screwed. Kabam wants to make it harder for you to get units and milestones now. This is why I thought uncollected players, who maybe won't become Cavalier for quite some time, because like I said, their best champions are rank 4, rank 5, 4-stars, which they can't even take to Act 6. They need to have a 5-star arena for them more than ever. But more than that, the fastest arenas to clear content have always been the 3-star featured and the 4-star basic. You took those away and replaced them with summoner trials. And look, I get that there are a lot more milestones to be fair in this, but it still takes more time, especially if you don't have as big of a 4-star roster. But what makes the least sense to me is that we're in the month of May when this happened. Kabam has said quite passionately that they want us to use our 3 and 4-star and even 1 and 2-star champs more. That's why we can't sell champions anymore. So why does it make any freaking sense that the same month that we are told that we're going to use our champions more, we have no incentives during the normal week? If you've got a 4-star roster, why would you ever use 3-stars unless you've got like arena boost to burn? Because I guess, keep in mind that if you use 3x 3-stars, you might be earning more points than 4-stars. But you also might, who knows, fight tough matchups. I really do feel like the new Summoner Trials is made for 4-star rosters. It's made for these guys. It's made for rank 5 4-stars. And once you get used to using those rank 5 4-stars, I'm not going to scroll all the way down until I eventually see my 3-stars, which of course are PI that are 3,000s, whereas that's not even half of my highest 4-star rated champions. These summoners need the 4-star basic and the 3-star back. They need it. But I don't know if that's ever going to be realistic now for Kabam. They've changed the system. I do have a rich account. I am considered to be in the top 1% because of my YouTube channel. And I'm not putting this as a credit of myself. This is a community channel. Every time you watch a video, you hit that like button, you comment, you subscribe, and yes, some of you generously give a monetary donation. You help me pour that money right back into the channel, like Mr. Generous Lawrence Clark was able to have me do with an Odin worth of featured calves yesterday. But I'm also understanding enough and empathetic enough to know that most people can't afford to do that. And if you're a free-to-play player or a casual player, this is a horrible change for you. And I would be so upset if I were you. For all the reasons that it conveniences me and inconveniences you. And I hope that Kabam realizes that, because they have a chance to rectify the situation the same way that they sort of rectified when they had originally increased Alliance Quest donations. Remember when that fiasco happened? That cluster? Well, they changed the system again because it screwed over so many players. So if you are upset, I appreciate you watching this video and commenting, but you got to go to the forums. You got to make your voice heard, because Kabam is screwing you over and making it a lot harder for you to get milestones. And for everybody that says, oh, Prof, you now get the same amount of units, even a little bit more from all the milestones as you would before. Well, yeah, but that's using all of your 100 plus 6 stars that almost no one has access to. So I might benefit from that, but everybody else doesn't. And if you are used to getting all those units with your 3 and 4 stars, and now you need 106 stars, you're just screwed. You just want to quit the game. And that's depressing, that's terrible, and that simply can't stand. I look forward to reading your feedback on this. I know it's a little bit longer of a video than normal, but I needed to say all of the points that have been reached out to me. Thanks for watching. Have a good weekend.